Sandun Silva is a photographer by profession, and I like beautiful things. Typical day. Early morning wake up, coffee, then just go through the work. If it's a work day, be on location in the morning, get ready to shoot. If not, figure out where I'm going for lunch, do a bit of shopping, and get ready for the evening. Best childhood memory. Quite a few. One of my favorites was when I was about 13 and my parents took me to Paris for the first time. And I immediately fell in love. Again, a lot of shopping. But I loved the old museums and the art and so on and so forth. I did really love it. It kind of opened you up to sort of the more European classical artists, music, so on and so forth. My three best qualities, persistence will be one, and then I would say, wow, that's a tough one. I am somewhat caring, and also, again, persistence. Three worst. Three worst can be, that's a hard one. Three worst would be, okay, now thought about that one. Three worst, okay. My three worst would be, I tend to have a bit of a temper. Plus, oh God, it's really hard. That's really hard, actually. But what could I say, though? I'm a bit hard on myself, a bit critical on myself. Sometimes it's a bit too much. And also, sometimes I tend to sort of lose focus for a minute or two, but it's got better with years. The goodest thing about me, I read Japanese manga. How did I meet my wife? Well, I was back from New York, and I had a friend of mine was organizing a party down south, and at one of my favorite places to go to called Klosenberg. And so I ended up going there, and then I think it was her first time that she came to one of those parties. And we just met. She just saw me, and her friend said hi. I said, oh, hi. Probably waited about, throughout the party. It took me about 8 hours for her to actually speak to me. It's like she refused to speak to me, but I did. A couple of months later, she moved in. 6 months after I met her, I took her to Paris, proposed to her. A year later, we were married. Love is a whole load of things. I mean, it starts off with, respect, trust, friendship, and goes on to, not, wanting to wake up next to that person every day, and giving more than what you would give yourself. And this is a great example which some days when we're traveling and we're in weird places because of my wife's work, I mean, she would have a hard day, but she would always think about me before she thought about herself, and she'd start the day off like that. And that was a great example of what I thought love was, and it's a fantastic thing. Memorable date, quite a few. It's I mean oh yeah, we were living in Madagascar at that time, and I think and we had a flight to catch to go to this island resort called Isamari. And so everything was booked up, planes were booked up, and Madagascar is a funny place where flights are not reliable. So we were on the way to the airport early morning, all prepared, my island chic outfits ready. But, the airport calls and says, I'm sorry, the plane decided to go 2 hours before, so you don't have a flight. And then we asked them, okay, when is the next flight? Get us on the next flight. And they said, oh, it's in 2 days. So we were not too happy. And we ended up hiring a private plane and heading to the island. You just know that she's the one because when you look at her and you wake up next to somebody and you don't, you know that person and you see them at probably their worst, that's in the morning, and you still feel like you just can't get enough of that person. And you want to do that for the rest of your life. That's when you kind of know. Games, it's a great break from life, reality. My hobbies, mainly cooking because, I love cooking. I've been cooking since I was about 4.5 years old. Then I love my games, mainly PlayStation. I love my PlayStation. Also, I dabble in a little bit of, have fun with a bit of gardening. It's always fun and relaxing. And messing around with interiors. These are all good, fun stuff to do. I just like keeping things quite beautiful, in a sense. Cooking started when I was about 4.5, almost 5. My grandma was a great cook, and she, would cook us great, really interesting stuff. And one of her favorites were this chocolate cake she used to make. And she was making chocolate cake one day, and I was very young, ran in the kitchen when she moved out of the kitchen. I was trying to eat the batter, and the entire thing fell on me. So she didn't say anything. She just chucked me in the shower, brought me back, gave me 4 eggs, butter, flour, and kind of taught me how to put the thing together. And that was my first experience, and I loved it from there onwards. And also I found it was much more interesting to spend time in the kitchen with all the ladies than be outside chatting with the guys, because all the gossip is there. But I love cooking. It's good for the soul, and I studied it as well because I love it so much. So. That's one thing I always, when I travel and stuff like that, I just keep buying stuff. I think like anybody else, just buy loads of things. A friend of mine always used to tell me, when you're doing pasta just for one person, it's just like how much you grab with your fist. Let's start. My signature dish. Actually, according to my wife, it is pasta in tomato sauce because she loves it. She says that's her favorite, and then I have to cook it quite often. Games. It's a great break from life, reality. Nowadays, they're like interactive movies, which you can be a slight part of, and it also gives you teaches you different things. I know it sounds funny, but puzzles. There are different types of games. so many things. But mostly it's just the interaction and the immersiveness of the games. I love anything which is more RPG, which is role playing and stuff like that, which is really fun. And yeah, I just enjoy it.
That I'm at an all-time.
But let me get to a spot where one can do things. I mean, in this, you're basically the main character running around in a sort of a post-apocalyptic era, which is sort of interesting how the way they've done it, because it's like half tech, half like prehistoric also. I am running through the open wastelands, and I'm just gonna try to find, you've got these like sort of techno creatures and stuff like that, which you can sort of ride. I've basically finished the main storyline. It's very immersive. It's one of those games that you spend days on. I've spent like actually about a week on this. It's a fun game to play. I've been playing video games since I was, God, the first Spectrums. I think I was about 5, something like that. Yeah. Gosh, that was a long time ago, 35 years ago. Last time I bought a game, that was in January, and I bought 3. One was Horizon, one was Horizon New Dawn, a fantastic game. And then also got the Witcher series, the final episode of Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, and Tomb Raider. Look at this. I mean, how gorgeous is this? This is amazing. I'm just gonna spend time in here. I like gardening because I got kind of pushed into it again at a young age. My dad was pretty awesome. He got us when we were youngsters. We were 3 boys in the family to do all sorts of different things, like play the piano, do martial arts, do painting, and gardening was one of those things amongst them. And he would divide the. We had a big garden when we were living in Goa, and so he divided the garden according to the 3 boys, and gave us each plot to grow. And it teaches you a bit of patience, and also sort of physical. You're working with your hands. It's a lot of different things which you learn, and I've kind of got into it. My gardening is slightly different from my dad's nowadays, because I like sort of more manicured garden, and I have a very little garden, so it was always about theming it or manicuring it. But I enjoy it. It's a good fun thing to do. I took up gardening as a hobby at a very young age. I think I was about 12. Yeah, I was about 12, but I really got into it when I was about 15. I had an accident. My entire face was burnt. I had like 25% body burns, and it was bad. So I had to spend about 2 years at home recovering. While I was doing that, my dad got me into bonsais, and I really loved working on bonsais. And because you can sit there and you can for hours and days and whatnot, and creating that perfect triangle which a bonsai creates, and layering in neatly the grass, and building that and turning the plant around depending on which way you want to reach it. So that was probably when I really got into it. I was probably about 15. Okay, I guess I'm gonna do some gardening. But mostly weeding something out. Let me just get my gloves. Yeah, as you can see, I like more manicured sort of garden, but a little bit of mix and match. Kind of goes with the rest of the house. So yeah, let's see how I can manage this without getting all muddy. Alrighty, okay, not easy. Some of these plants, because of the heavy rain, have gone from the roots. So I just keep sort of changing and replacing a little bit here and there. Yeah, this is like sort of a plant that grows actually mostly in hill country, and the thing itself is, let's see, it's gone, but I just gotta go on Sunday and find sort of a replacement. It should look better now since all the stuff are opening. I mean, the plant market in Bathuramulla is fantastic to grab stuff because they've got a pretty decent selection. But you got to be careful because a lot of those guys are selling stuff which is like which only grows in like the colder climate, which is up country, but it doesn't really grow well down here. But yeah, I mean, it's fairly coming together. I've just got to do a few more patches and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing much to it. It's just how you curate your plants. I know some people like this whole wild garden sort of thing, but that's not my thing. I prefer sort of more this. Alrighty, this goes in the trash. Best garden I've seen so far is Kew Gardens in England. I mean, and Peradeniya. Peradeniya is also stunning. But then, I mean, there are so many different gardens. I mean, if you look at the old classical gardens, which are mostly based in like Italy, which were mostly done by either people who are running for the papacy or which not, and these guys made some crazy gardens. I do like some of those classical gardens more than English gardens. The more Italian, the more Mediterranean, like places like Lake Como, you've got some beautiful gardens. Yeah, I like European gardens a lot. Favorite place for interior shopping, I mean, that's pretty easy. It's Paradise Road. I love what Mr. Fernando has done with the place. Because, I mean, it's all, I mean, I like black and whites. If you see my house, it's all simple things, but elegant, timeless. And I would always love that word, timeless. And I always used to ask him, I mean, how you come up with this stuff? And it's like, Puta, it's just timeless. I mean, you can put it anywhere, it'll be fantastic. And that's why you can just walk in there and it's like a treasure trove. And, just find different things. And it's not the most obvious, but it is an amazing place to shop. I just love interiors. I love interior shopping because I love interiors. I love shopping per se, clothes, interior, shoes, pretty much most things. But I like putting together spaces. All right, so gotta get dressed up to head to PR. I mean, this is my little humble wardrobe. Regular day-to-day stuff, linen, wife stuff, my stuff, wife stuff. But I think she's taken over most of, she's slowly creeping into my side. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, I just like keeping things a little bit more like sort of organized, where different moods, different stuff. I mean, you know, I've got like, I go here, I've got like, you know, all my belts. It's mostly Hermes, you know, all this stuff. But yeah, and then here's my new buy, sort of a Klimt, and famous Austrian paint. So that's a beautiful scarf, actually. So I think it's Klimt has become famous recently because of you know, that movie Woman in Gold, and yeah, beautiful stuff. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go get ready. Right, so I think we're at PR and Paradise Road. Love it. You know, testament of what I like. You know, some of my work is hanging here. But you see what I love about inside. I mean, even from outside, when you look at it, it's just so beautiful and so timeless. It's a fantastic place to be too. So let's go check out what they have inside. Starting off the shop, I mean, you know, you start off with this beautiful selection of candles, and it's all like so amazing. And I mean, you can pick up, this is why I love spending time here. It's like you can just pick up anything. So yeah, so door stoppers, candles, more things like that. Let's say hi to the man himself. Hi, Uncle Sean. And look at this. I mean, how gorgeous is this? And that's why you can just put anything anywhere. I can shop the entire shop, but I just don't have enough money. But wow. So I'm just gonna, yeah. This is amazing. I'm just gonna spend time in here. Yeah, I think anybody can get lost in here. Like a lot of new editions. It keeps changing all the time, but just works amazingly. Look at this. Glassware, you know. It's always, yeah, wine glasses at home. These, yeah, pretty much most things are. All the knobs. These are fantastic. You've got an old cupboard or something like that, just like add some of these knobs, which is fantastic.
If it all goes wrong,
Wow.
just hold on.
Okay. My style when it comes to interior is more minimalist, a little bit Scandinavian, and a lot of monotones. Time is one thing I sometimes do have, because, I mean, I work maybe a couple of times a week, and this was a choice I made a long time ago because I really wanted time for myself, and this is something that is really hard in life, but that's something I do, and I do always like learning new things and picking up new hobbies, and which is really great. So that's what you hopefully didn't know about Sandun Silva, and I hope I was interesting enough. And thank you for Hi TV, and see you guys somewhere.